Hi, hey, hello, and welcome. I am Kirsten. This is Tristan, and we are so happy to have you here for our Monday Conscious Conversation.
Ah, it never gets old. I love to be here. We're coming at you with so much clarity, which is so exciting because we love to have this conversation. And so it's like organizing those in this prioritizing of like, what do you need to hear? What do we need to talk about today? What's coming up for everybody? Because we want to talk about it all, but we have to organize it in these small little conversations, which is hard, only if we say so, but it is.
Oh yeah, if you know us at all, you get us talking about something that we're passionate about, and it can drone on for sure. So
Yeah.
clarity is our superpower.
It is. I mean, but what a gift to have such passion about what you do. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
have so much passion and so much wisdom in it because we've put so much time into studying and experiencing and doing it that, like, we love the gift that's our gift. We give and we give and we talk and we love. So, yeah, that's what actually something to celebrate.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what Haseya Inc. is all about, right?
So happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. If this is your first call or you are a returner, your energy, your intention, what's brought you here, whatever you're seeking or desiring to expand in your life, just thank you. Thank you for being you in all of your authenticity. You know, this week, Tristan and I found ourselves very intentionally emerged for the last 3 days, getting more clarity, more direction, more tools for us to be able to show up aligned and in more service. It's what we're always desiring to do, is to find new ways that enhance our motivation, our direction, and continue to keep us directed to our North Star so that we're in service, not only to you, but, to our families. And that when we're putting out into the world, that we're making sure that we're pouring in equally. And it really has inspired a lot, including this conversation and what we have to come. So we're excited.
Oh, yeah. We haven't gotten to this point that we say like, "Hey, we're at the top of the mountain, therefore we don't need any more work or have to put in any energy to anything other than just like now changing you." None of that is true, okay? Um, we are constantly, as practitioners, held ethically to be, in reflection and pushing ourselves a little bit deeper, pushing ourselves to reach a little more clarity as seasons change and as we move so that we are really aligned. Because if you get out of alignment, and this is going to be something, this is actually not what we're talking about today, but when we get out of alignment, everything seems so much harder. There's stress involved. Things just aren't working. And so it's important that we're always taking that responsibility, that we're also doing these same things that we guide you to do as we're holding our hand out and helping, women move through their clarity and their work and their transformation so that they get more in touch with themselves and in the flow of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here we are. So what are we talking about today? Um, with anything that we do, like Tristan said, we have this reflection. We're always looking for the way that Spirit is speaking to us and through our lives, whether it's whether it's things that we are viscerally experiencing or stories or narratives that we witness within other people, pain bodies, or just experiences within themselves. And one of the things that kind of came through this week as we're immersing ourselves in technology, which always calls for us to be super grounded, whether that's in a succinct practice where we're on so much technology, or we just introduce so much more play into our lives. Tristan was just sharing how she was playing in her greenhouse and just jiving and listening to all of her music and stuff, just doing things that really connect her with the I am, the all that is. And I was outside a lot in my land, walking around with my doggos, just doing things to kind of keep us centered and focused as we were receiving all of this information. And in that, what kind of sparked this conversation today was this divide within the self. I'm walking outside, I'm walking the dogs, and I've got my phone with me. And I pull out my phone, not because I had an innate desire to capture like the way the sun was coming through. I was experiencing it and just saying thank you. And but I was telling myself, okay, capture this moment because we need to show, you know, like this piece of our life. Like we need to put this out. And so, of course, there's always this checks and balances as practitioners. Okay, why do I feel the need to capture, this moment? Why? What is that? And we're going to get into that today.
Yeah, it's such a fine line. And we're going to start on this business side and then move into how you're already probably going to start making connections as to how this is uh, uh, alive in your life too. But there's this walk of being present and walking the walk, and this pressure to show the walk, show it, prove it. And there's also this desire for people to know us better on a personal level than just what we do, for our passion for our living. And so there is that we are in a day and age where we have technology right there. We have our phone on us all the time. We have these computers on us all the time to where hey, I should capture this. I need to capture this. I need to capture this because we don't have photographers and videographers following us around every day. Do not have crews. We don't actually have a team at all. We do everything. And so um, there's that pulls you out, right? Like it's kind of pulling you out of that present moment to then capture it and understanding why we're capturing it. Is it for people to get to know us a little bit more? Is it for inspiration? What is the goal behind what we're doing? Um, but there's comes with such decision to be present in that, or we're always seeing everything through the lens of our phone and our technology, pulling us out, editing, posting. Then people are then attached to how people are going to respond. How is this going to be received? Do people like it? Do they like me? So we're walking through that and what it's kind of turned into and how to kind of walk that line a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you said this word or not yet, because we've talked about it prior to this discussion, but the dance of being present versus performance. We're not here to say that every time that you go to capture something, that it is performative. That's what this conversation is about. What is what is driving you? Why are you picking that up? And so, and Tristan said we're going to talk about this from a business space, but then expanding it, into your family, your life, the way that you move throughout your day. um, are we trying to paint a facade to people like, oh, this is my life and this is what I do and this is how I show up? Or is it, oh my gosh, this moment is so precious, I have to capture it or it's gone. And then we're not even actually experiencing it because we're so focused on having to capture the moment.
Having to share it with the world. We have that mass connection. And it goes so many different ways. So we have so much information all the time globally. It's not just tribal anymore, community anymore, connection and news and word of mouth. We're just vastly connected. Um, but there is that question you need to ask yourself, I think, is am I performing to fit a certain identity, to fit a certain picture, to fit a certain Instagram follow numbers, followers, like checking the boxes, um, why am I even on social media? What's my intent here? Is a big one because there's so much in this. we're going to come back to this, but there's so much numbing and distraction going on in most lives right now. So it's really just kind of zooming out to look at something right now and just pick up the pieces and look at it from all the different angles to see what's really going on here.
Yeah. Um, you said something really interesting. We're so vastly connected, um, and viscerally, it looks that way. It presents that way. We have that innate ability to do so, right? But that's not really the reality that most of us are in the experience of. We're severely disconnected. Yeah, we're seeing things from people that we haven't spoken to in 15 years, and we can tell you what's going on in their lives, but like we don't know who they are. We don't know, what it actually is that they're moving through. It's not community in the way in which that I feel like the soul is calling for right now. Which, if you don't know, now you know. Have the rap song just play through my head. Um, that's why we formed Haseya Inc. off of social media, um,
Yeah.
because we recognize what is happening there, and wanting and so deeply desiring for people to experience community the way in which that Tristan and I have created it in our sisterhood and with our Haseya sisters, knowing that that is possible and that you too can experience that. Also, not what we're talking about today.
And what a bold move we made to take the chance of getting off of social media where everybody spends out so much of their time that they have to actually physically like have the willpower to not be on social media and go to another app to connect, to actually connect. So that's why it's so important to ask yourself, why am I using social media? Because while it seems like we're so connected because we can see things from people all over the world, we're getting less connected. We're not using social media for our intention. Social media is using us. Social media is becoming like an addiction to become somebody that we're not, to look like somebody, um, to have validation, to numb, to distract from real life. What are we actually using it for? And if it is for connection, then we need to use it for connection. We need to use the technology. And that was a conversation. That's what we were really deep into learning about technology that can help us in the business. But it's and in our lives and our personal lives and walking that line of understanding that anything in life is you need to use it rather than be used by it because there's people on the polarity and relative of each side, and that goes with everything. It goes with our mind. We need to use our mind rather than let our mind use us with these old commands and these old stories, which goes into our spiritual psychology of what we teach. But just being living with intention and making sure that we're able to live in present moment, live in our unique expression and identity rather than really actually not being aware of what we're doing and fulfilling and trying to find the validation in who we're trying to be. Am I hitting that? Like, is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, what we're saying is we come to this outpicturing of losing the self. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you have to be this person like Tristan and I have decided to be very like public and present online. Um, but even if you're not present online, but yet you still get that little notification that you've spent, 7+ hours on your phone every single day, and you have all the apps, and it's like, okay, so just because we're not posting and we're not like allowing ourselves to be seen and whatever's going on there for you, we're still putting so much time and energy, in other people's expressions. And a lot of times, what we see is this again, same disconnection, discontentment with our life because we're, in comparison. We're out here instead of in here. And I know it can be so uncomfortable to be with yourself, especially if we're not super happy, with ourself. But we promise when you sit in these practices and you allow yourself to just not be so out here and you come in here, um, you're going to start to feel this shift in your body, and you're going to start to feel that worthiness, and that silent space isn't going to be so deafening and scary anymore as it is like, oh, I cannot wait to be back in that space again.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And a lot of a lot of that can be warranted because whether you own a business and you're working a lot because you're providing for your family or chasing your dreams, we have to remember what makes us human. We have to remember what makes us human. That brings us back because really, overall, a lot of people are unhappy. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are numb and can't figure out why they can't hit an emotion. There's lots of reasons why. And it's one of the things that we want to start going into and talking about because it came up and we want to kind of break it down pretty simply for you and like these steps to, move towards more happiness in our life. And it comes from being more human and more present, more raw. And we also will have these simple things that add more happiness into our lives, but we're going to have the tools from our spiritual psychology work, from our coaching work that gives you the tools to understand it more, how to get there, because there's still this crazy disconnect between us and things that are so simple because we overcomplicate things so much and there's so much noise and so many things. So getting to this place of understanding ourselves, understanding how simple we can actually experience more happiness in our life, being more human, and having these tools to do so, and and getting to be able to actually make things more simple in the noise of everything that's going on, being able to use things for us rather than having things using us and then completely losing our way. We're not for that, y'all. Let's call that back. Let's redirect. Let's shift. Let's point to a new North Star.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know this about us, our 12 module course is called The Journey to Wholeness and Fulfillment. So, of course, we are always naturally gravitating to this conversation of happiness and fulfillment. And how do we have more of that in our lives? How do we become more in love with life itself? And so this next series, it's going to be just like this in our Monday Conscious Conversation. We're going to dive into happiness. Doesn't that sound nice? Just having more of that in our life and our day to day, whether you want to specifically focus on your relationship or how you show up as a mother, as a sister, as a friend, or you just know the holiday seasons are coming up and you want to be freaking intentional about that time and your energy. You are not going to want to miss these next couple of calls because, like Tristan said, it's going to be about the simplicity of these things in your life, but very tangible examples of how you can start to apply them from the basis of spiritual psychology, understanding how the mind works, how our body responds to stimuli, and all of the things that we need to empower us to be able to navigate. Yes, what seems like the complexity of our mind, but the very simple nature and state of what we are, which is software. And we're programming it over and over again. So we're super excited to do this with you guys.
I'm so excited. So, from this conversation today, what we're challenging you to do is just have a little bit more curiosity about why you're doing what you're doing so that you're not getting lost in it and allowing it to continue to use you, continue to distract you from the life that you're not living. Um, we we need to be more human. We need to be more connected. And are we reaching for things for these desires where we're not getting them? Just being very curious why you reach for, social media, why you're pulling yourself out of a moment to take a picture. Is it to remember it forever? Your kids? Is it because it's pretty and you want to remember it? Is it to kind of keep up with the Joneses and compare it? What is it? Just find always, we always say this, but find more curiosity and fascination by life and the things that we're doing. Because our goal here is to become more human in our full expression of our divinity, our wholeness, our fullness, and so much that we get to create here. We get to create so much, not just manage, not just survive life, but to create. And so that's our prompt for you. That's your homework for this week until we meet again next week to start playing with happiness. 5 simple things that make humans more happy, and the tools and the understanding of the spiritual psychology to be able to do it. So, we are so glad you joined us today. We hope you're going to join us next week. Also, get in our DMs so you can communicate with us so that you can help curate this podcast and check out our collective we have coming up with our retreat and our community. If you missed last week, we explained it a bit. Check out our free offerings that we have and our course. There's so much here for you.
Absolutely. If you're not in that free community, get in there now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch these on replay. Like Tristan said, be involved in the conversation. We're so happy to have you here.
We love you.